Hello brothers, welcome back to the Alpha Platform. Before we get started, do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for supporting the Wolfman. Thank you guys for supporting queer black content creators. We greatly appreciate it. Today's video is going to be serious. I like to come, every week I'll give you guys an entertainment topic. I'll give you guys some YouTube shorts. I'll give you guys a serious topic. But today is one of those days where we're going to talk about something serious that I feel like we can all relate to. And that is life after layoff. The economy is in an extremely poor condition right now, and it's so bad to the point where even in my industry, I work in pharmaceuticals, I'm hearing stories of my colleagues being laid off left to right. And I just went through a performance review, and that went well. Successful performer, only 6 months in my new role, and I greatly appreciate that. But I know enough to know that no one's ever truly safe in these companies, in these institutions. But what people don't know about my story is that I've actually been fired 2 times in the past. And it's so crazy because, when I go out with some of my friends here in town, we'll talk about things like that because one of my friends is married to someone who works for Microsoft, and she happens to be in HR. In her role, she is directly responsible for letting people go. So she talks about how much she's letting people, how many people she's laid off, how impactful that has been for her, how it's detrimental to the people that she's letting go. But I noticed that they'll ask, hey, how many times have you been fired or laid off? And I will say 2. And I'm the only person at the table that has experience dealing with this stuff. So I want to share my words of wisdom that I wish I knew in my 20s when this happened to me. Because I felt like if someone had done that for me, especially specifically a gay man had done that for me, I would have known how to navigate that situation so much better than what I did back at 25 or 24. I think I was 25, living in Dallas, Texas. So let's go back in history. Let's go back in my history. So I was 25, living in Dallas, Texas, and I had just graduated college at 23. I was a late graduator. The reason why was because I had taken a very extensive, long curriculum in terms of trying to get into medical school. So I got my degree in I got a bachelor's of science degree. That's what I'm going to say, in exercise science. On top of that curriculum, I also took the pre-med prerequisites to enter medical school. So it took me some time. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. Finally, I graduated at 23, and I was working in the pharmaceutical industry for about 2 years. I was working at a job my first job was like maybe $35,000 a year. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I can do more. I need more money to take care of myself because I'm living in Dallas alone. All of my family is back in Illinois. I really have no one here to support me. I don't have a boyfriend, whatnot. I was there just doing my own thing, single, alone, traveling when I could with my best friends. But I got promoted to another company, to a different position. And things were going well for the first 3 months. So I thought. And then I had one performance assessment in terms of giving a presentation, and I was not knowledgeable enough about the topics that I was speaking about, and that really kind of concerned the higher ups. So I was let go, I would say a week later after my presentation, and it was a shocker. It shook me to my core. Because up until then, I always believed the myth that if I just worked hard enough, I would reap the rewards and benefits. Like if I just put in my best effort, I would always succeed. So no one had taught me how to deal with failure. No one had taught me that you can give your best to something and it not come to pass. And I really struggled with that. So not only did I get fired from that position, I had also applied to medical school around that same time. A second time, I got rejected again. Around that time, I had met a guy. We were dating for about 3 months, and we were living separately. He was not supporting me. We were just getting to know each other, but we were officially boyfriends. And one day, out of the blue, I could just kind of feel some distance between us. And then one day, he sat me down in a restaurant, and he was like, "Well, hey, I just feel like we should go our separate ways." And I was shocked. Shocked. So, his explanation was, "Alfred, I'm breaking up with you because I cannot imagine going to medical school with you. Like, I cannot be on that journey with you." And I didn't know what to say to that. All I did was thank him for not wasting my time, because he could have literally continue in a relationship with me for years and never told me this. So I was thankful it was 3 months and not 3 years, you know? So thankful that he did not waste my time, although it was very painful for me. So I had lost my dream, I had lost my job, and I lost a partner that I thought I loved very much and I was gonna, try to build a life with. I lost three important things to me all at once within like 3 months. Needless to say, I was devastated. Like I was literally devastated. I was in a really dark space. I thought, what am I gonna do with myself? I thought my identity has always been what I do. Like, oh, I'm Alfred. I work incredibly hard. I have a nice job. I make great grades. I want to be a doctor, a physician. I told everybody, because people ask you, why are you in college? What are you going for? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. Coming from a poor family, a family who was stricken by poverty, a grandmother who was a sharecropper, who picked cotton, who did not, who did not have an education. She only went to school when it was raining outside, so maybe she had the education of like maybe a fifth grader. I don't know, but she had very little education. So she uprooted our family. We moved to Springfield, Illinois, built a life there, and I really set it out to be my mission that I would expand the family name. I would go in a different direction. I would try to be ambitious and try to succeed the best way that I knew how, which was through academics. And I did that. So it rocked me. It rocked me to my core. And I did not know where to turn next. All I knew was that I could not afford my apartment in the medical district in Dallas anymore. I could not afford, I was barely affording my car payment. I had a Ford Focus back then, 2008 Ford Focus. And I think my car payment was about $309. Could barely afford that. So luckily I just hopped on the internet and I met a recruiter. She was able to help me get another position. And I went for that interview in Chicago. I ended up landing that job and I worked there for the next 4 years. Funny thing is this, check this out. After I had been fired, like I said before, I landed a position in Chicago. The second day I was in Chicago, I met my husband, the man I'm still married to today. And I want to bring this up because some of you guys will be laid off. Maybe I will be laid off. I don't know. But what I do know is that there is a blessing that comes with every low point in your life. Every low point comes with a blessing. So if you're laid off, try to look at it from a different lens. Instead of looking at what's wrong with me, what could I have done better? I'm a failure. I should have done this differently. I feel ashamed. I feel embarrassed. No, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about leadership. Sometimes it's about the company. Sometimes it's about the company culture. Every company is not a good fit for you. You should not want to work at every company. So if you're going through a layoff, I challenge you to try to see the positives with it. So during my downtime when I was trying to look for a new job, I was doing a lot of research. I was doing a ton of research. I was literally researching how to invest because I knew that I could no longer have my financial life in the hands of another person. So I looked at ways to invest and I found Jay Morrison. He got me into the real estate industry, meaning his knowledge got me into the real estate industry, I would say. Ended up, moving to Chicago, met a real estate agent, hit it off with him. He and I became friends. Later on, I found out he was bisexual. He tried to hook up with me, didn't work out. But what I'm trying to say is this. I used that downtime to acquire knowledge because I knew I wanted financial independence. So with my new job, I began to stack up money. I applied for an FHA loan, which would require a 3.5% down payment for a property. I purchased a duplex. It wasn't the nicest property. It was not the nicest. However, after purchasing the property, I was able to, my husband and I were able to rent it out within a month. We immediately start making cash flow. And those people were paying our mortgage while we were just paying the other bills. So we did not have a mortgage for many years because we had people paying it for us. So we're stacking money, we were traveling. I was trying to build my YouTube channel. That was back in those days when I had my YouTube channel just had started. And I'm very grateful for that time. When people ask me about being fired and I say 2 times, I say it boldly, I say it proudly. Why? Because I learned so much. I learned so much. So if you're an individual out there and you've been laid off, it's not about what happened to you. It's about how do you feel about it? What are you going to do about it? I think it's very much normal and okay to sit around and sulk about it, grieve it, be angry, cry, whatever you have to do to reconcile the situation. But understand you can't stay there. Understand you must look up eventually. And if you can look up, you can get up. So look up. Look for other things. Look for side hustles. Uber Eats, becoming an Uber driver, getting on YouTube. I've been telling you guys for the longest these jobs are not stable. AI is eventually going to replace all of us. AI will eventually replace all of us at these corporate jobs. So therefore, with this in mind, it would be incredibly unresponsible not to hop on YouTube and start creating income for yourself. Why? Because your personality, your essence cannot be automated. It cannot be automated. The human experience will become very lucrative in the future because that's what people want. They want connections with other humans. We really don't want connections with other robots. We want connections with other human beings. So if you can tap into that now while you still have a job, if that's you, go ahead and do so. If that's you out there and you want to build a YouTube channel, reach out to me, email me, join my live streams, leave a comment, leave comments on my channel, my live streams, my videos, wherever it is. I will see it and I will say, hey, email me and let me give you some advice. Let me feature you on my channel. Let me give you a shout out to send people your way because once again, I'm here to help. I'm here to be a mentor. I'm here to really help you succeed. There is life after layoff. There's even love after layoffs, bro. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. I never thought I would find love after getting fired, It's so funny because I had been in Dallas for 6 years and never found a partner. I think my longest relationship was like 3 months. And I would not count that as a relationship because we were just, that's too short of a time period to be, in a serious relationship. For me, it was not a relationship. It was not until I moved to Chicago, got fired, moved to Chicago, that I had my first real relationship and I ended up getting married with that dude. So you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, next month. But what you can do right now, if you're worried about being laid off, the first thing you can do, here are some tips. I always like to, have some positive tips and whatnot. The first thing you can do is begin to pay off credit card debt. I think that credit card debt is the worst thing to have if you're laid off because they don't care. The banks don't care. And the interest rates are incredibly high. So if you miss a payment, not only is your credit going to take a ding, but the interest payments are going to skyrocket. So you want to go ahead and make sure you start paying off your credit cards as quickly as possible and start racking up new credit card debt. Trying to save as much money as you can. I'll give you guys some more of my personal information. I make very good money for where I stay in Houston, Texas. Very, very good. Well above the average income for my area, well above. But I still struggle because inflation is so high, inflation is so high. So it's not like us who are in the upper bracket in terms of our income. What I mean is like close to $100,000 a year. It's not like we don't struggle as well. Lifestyle creep is a very real thing. So if you can prevent it, go ahead and prevent it. I would say stop purchasing so many items that you don't need, including fragrances, perfumes, body lotions, body washes. I believe in self-care and self-help, self-care, and I believe in purchasing things, because you work so hard. You need to purchase things that make you feel good about yourself and your life and whatnot. Do it here and there, but always make sure to build an emergency fund. I also have portions of my paycheck that go to my 401k plan. I don't see it. I have portions that go to my husband and I's high interest savings account. I don't see it. Portions of my income go into my stock portfolio. I do not see it. And lastly, what I'm left over on my paycheck, I always withdraw at least $100 and put in my emergency fund. And throughout the years, that stacked up. That stacked up and became something. So I can, we can fall back on that money as well. But there is life, like I said before, life after layoff. There is even love after layoffs. You just don't know why things are happening the way they are happening. Just know they will work out for your good. Literally, I can smile because I know they will work out for your good. It's so funny because although I'm very appreciative of the money that I'm making in the stage of life that I am right now at 35, I miss those days of freedom when I did not have a job for like 3 years. My husband and I were just traveling around the world, you know? So look at getting a passport while you still have a job. Apply for a passport, $75, you know? And you'll have your passport in about 2 months. You know, use that time to go travel if you can. Like, hop in your car and just go, and see where life takes you. See where the world takes you. But the world is literally your oyster, and you'll be surprised how life will shock you and the people you will meet along the way, and how those people and those experiences will change your life. They truly will. You know, so. Are you afraid about being laid off? You know, even in my heart, I'm afraid, because I talked to my husband today. I'm like, hey, look, my close colleague that I work with very closely, she's been laid off. You know, if she's been laid off, I'm guessing it's because she was making too much money. But, you know, with that being said, anyone can be laid off at any time. So, you know, if you're afraid about being laid off, it's okay to worry about it and be afraid. But I would just want to point you towards the direction of preparing for it, like preparing just in case it happens to you by saving money, paying down debt. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Saving money, paying down debt, monitoring your spending, taking care of credit cards. I'm sorry, excuse me, guys. I just had lunch. Taking care of your credit cards, racking up an emergency fund. You know, and be careful about your purchases from here on out, because we don't know when this economy will improve. All we know is that tariffs are supposed to kick in April 2nd. And what that means for all of us is higher prices at the grocery store, higher prices pretty much everywhere. So, you know, I just bought a bunch of groceries today, ended up spending over $300. And I'm like, okay, it's a little bit too much. But you know what? We're not using HelloFresh anymore. We're not using Factor anymore. So if you average it all out, I'm spending the same amount of money as I've always been spending on groceries. So I just want to come on and talk about, you know, life after layoff and love after layoff, because I really feel like it's a pertinent message. And I don't, as an LGBTQ plus Black content creator, I just don't want to come on here and talk about, certain topics, entertainment topics and whatnot. I want to give you guys practical, real world advice and wisdom that I've experienced in my life, because I wish someone would have gave it to me in my 20s, you know? Forget about the shame, forget about the embarrassment that comes with being laid off. It's okay, it's life, you know? The thing I want to leave you with is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to get out there and search for another job and just have it happen to you over and over and over again? Or are you going to use this time to finally pursue and find your passion, finally pursue financial independence, and go from there? It's up to you guys. It's truly up to you. Thank you guys for joining me for today. Wolf was back. Wolf back. Take care. Peace.
I don't wanna see a nigga bluff, nigga kill, nigga up. Nigga, what's up? Nigga, what's good? You and they can't, I still trap in the hood. Cell phone bang all night, so I'ma get to it all night. Then on the weekends, so they try to catch flights. With another bitch, nigga, really I might. I never spare, nigga, dare, nigga, trap a nigga, rob a nigga, chop a nigga, brother, nigga, tell a nigga, real a nigga, fuck, real a nigga, spill a nigga. I'ma beat a nigga, never feed a nigga, never see a nigga, never need a nigga, cut a nigga, bust a nigga, can't fuss nigga, what's up, nigga, untouched nigga.